On June 12, 2025, Air India flight AI-171, well, it ended tragically just moments after it began its journey. Today, we're doing a deep dive into what we know so far, the initial facts, those first clues, and, the bigger picture implications of this devastating crash. We've gathered the early reports to give you a clear understanding of this unfolding story.
Exactly. And our goal here is really to navigate these difficult details, look at what the early evidence is telling us, and explore what this specific incident might mean for aviation safety going forward. We want to make sure you're informed, but without, getting lost in the technical jargon.
Okay, so let's unpack the basic details first. We're talking about Air India flight AI-171. It was a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, registration VTANB. It took off from Ahmedabad, heading for London Gatwick. On board were 242 people. That breaks down to 230 passengers and 12 crew members. And then tragically, just seconds after takeoff, it crashed right into a residential hostel building on the BJ Medical College campus there in Ahmedabad. The loss of life was immense. 241 people on the plane died. And reports say at least 38 more on the ground, bringing that total to around 279 souls.
What's really striking from an analytical perspective is just how immediate and catastrophic it was, happening right after departure like that. It's statistically quite unusual for modern jets to fail so completely, so quickly. That immediately focuses the investigation on a very specific, very critical phase of flight.
And the search for answers started, almost immediately.
Right, absolutely. Priority one was getting the black boxes.
The flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder.
That's right. The FDR, the flight data, was recovered pretty quickly within 28 hours, I believe.
Okay.
The CVR, the voice recorder, took a bit longer, about 3 days later.
And that CVR reportedly captured something quite chilling.
Yes. A mayday. No power call. Just 36 seconds before the impact.
Wow. 36 seconds. That short time frame and that specific message, no power, what does that signal right away?
It's incredibly significant. That brevity points away from, say, a gradual problem or something the crew wrestled with for minutes. It suggests a sudden, almost instantaneous, catastrophic event, maybe a dual engine failure, or perhaps a complete electrical power loss cutting off systems. Something went terribly wrong very fast.
So it really narrows the focus for the investigators.
Precisely. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, they're leading this, of course, but they've got support from the UK's AAIB, the US NTSB, and Boeing is involved too. They'll be digging into every parameter, every alarm, the pilot communications, everything from those recorders. We should expect a preliminary report within about 3 months.
And then there's this detail that just seems unbelievable amidst all the tragedy of the sole survivor.
Yes, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, a British national.
Apparently seated in an exit row 11A, and he walked away with only minor injuries. Experts are calling it miraculous.
It truly is. Reports suggest he might have been thrown clear of the main impact and fireball.
What can investigators possibly learn from something so unusual, one person surviving such a devastating crash?
Well, it's rare, but survivability data is crucial. How did the seat, the surrounding structure, the exit row configuration behave? It provides real-world data, however tragic the context, for crashworthiness research. Even as we focus on that, the bigger picture here is the intense scrutiny falling on Boeing. This is the first fatal hull loss of a Dreamliner ever in 16 years of operation.
That's a significant point.
Absolutely. And India's aviation authority, the DGCA, they've reacted quickly. They've mandated immediate inspections on all of Air India's 34 Dreamliners. They're focusing specifically on power systems, engine thrust settings, the flaps, landing gear areas, potentially related to that critical takeoff phase.
So pulling back a bit, what are the wider ripples here? Air India's chairman, N. Chandrasekaran, he called it the most heartbreaking crisis. He also stressed a renewed commitment to safety, especially as they're modernizing. The investigations are ongoing, obviously, and the full technical analysis will come after that preliminary report. We're also hearing that families of the UK victims have criticized the level of support they've received, calling for more government help.
And that's understandable. From an industry perspective, this event, particularly because of how it happened so sudden, that no power call, it could genuinely lead to new directives worldwide for the 787 fleet, maybe even broader changes. It really forces the question, what fundamental lessons, whether it turns out to be engine failure, a power system issue, maybe something unexpected with flaps, what lessons will aviation learn from this very specific, tragic set of circumstances to make flying even safer?
That is the crucial question, isn't it? Something we'll be watching closely as the full findings